Good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening, fellow humans. I'm Christian.
And I'm Diamond.
And we are the inspiration behind the Pokemon duo Team Rocket. No, that's not us? Okay. Well, we are BFFs.
Also, you sound like a freaking broadcaster.
Yeah, we are broadcasting on YouTube, Instagram, possibly Spotify. So, we are BFFs, and this is our very first podcast. So, we're extremely nervous, and we're feeling borderline uncomfortable about all of this, but that's what we're here for. That is the point, and that, my friends, is New York City. So, Diamond, you want to tell us how this podcast came to be?
All right. So the very, very original idea was, so the day I moved back to New York, CJ picked me up. Am I calling you CJ or Christian?
Oh, yes. My name is also CJ. So you'll hear Diamond calling me CJ. Y'all can call me CJ or Christian, whatever.
Okay. So the day I moved to New York, CJ drove me from PA to Queens, where I was living at the time. And we pull up to a stop sign, and this man, what did he do? I can't remember exactly what he did. Did he like bow in front of the car?
No, he kneeled. He kneeled.
Right. And you put your window up, right? you had one hand on the wheel, and you did not deviate from glaring in front of you. One hand on the wheel, and you ever so gently rolled up your window. So you rolled up your window, and I think one of us said that was borderline uncomfortable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So one of us said that, and then we kind of just took it from there. It's something that stuck with us ever since. So since that, we've just, every time we've run into an uncomfortable situation or something that just made us a little bit uncomfortable, we would say borderline uncomfortable. Fast forward a couple years, here we are. It was supposed to be a show at one point, but since we are in the middle of a pandemic, we're making a podcast instead.
Yes, we are. And it's going to be really interesting because I'm nervous as heck. And I think we're both nervous as heck.
Yeah.
So it'll hopefully play into the podcast beautifully. So our web series that we were going to do with Borderline Uncomfortable was just going to be little like 5-minute episodes of us just acting out different situations, like the one where that Diamond described to you. And we, as the podcast, we're actually going to do something a little bit deeper than that, because Diamond and I, we talk to each other almost every day, and we're constantly going into deep discussions about things that are happening in the world, things that are happening to us, to the people around us, things that people don't really talk about often.
Or if they do, they don't do that deep dive.
Because we're always asking each other like questions, just keeping the conversation going. And even if we don't have the answer, we don't know the answer, it's always good to question. It's always good to evaluate. Why do we feel this way? Why do you think they feel this way? And it can get a little uncomfortable. So that's why a lot of people don't want to talk about this stuff. And we want to encourage more of those open discussions. So that's why we're doing this in front of y'all instead of in private. And we hope that you guys will join us. You guys will continue to respond to the questions that we post on Instagram, give us feedback. And thank you for those who answered. Thank you for those who are listening. And thank you for those who shared the post. And yeah, we're happy to have you here with us.
Keep supporting us, y'all. Keep supporting us.
Keep supporting us. Or don't. We're not going to force you.
Or don't if that's what you're not comfortable with. That's fine too.
Okay, so if I'm sweating, I'm sorry. I have the fan off for audio purposes, and it is going to be hellish. But here we are. So, Diamond, I have an uncomfortable question for you. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
You know, it's so funny. I'm kind of dreading this. So we briefly talked about this actually before we even started recording. And my almost fear, initially when you proposed this question, my reaction was, what do I want to share with people without exposing too much about myself? Because you'll get to know me pretty much from my responses, how I answer them, from our conversation. You'll really get to know me that way. But as far as what do I share? I guess I can just tell you guys the basics, which is I'm 28. I live in New York City, Brooklyn all day.
Queens.
I love Queens, but Brooklyn. Stop it. Enough.
That's not what she was saying earlier, but okay.
I do miss Queens. So whatever. Borderlineuncomfortable. I do love Queens. I fuck with Queens hard. But yeah, so I'm a full-time student. I'm currently not working due to coronavirus. But prior to that, I was working in corporate human resources, which I really enjoy. That's my career path. That's kind of the gist of me. I mean, there's of course more, but that's like the basics. 28, live in New York, work in corporate HR.
Where are you from, Diamond?
Oh, I'm from right here in Brooklyn.
Oh.
No, I was born here. My family moved us from New York to PA when I was, I think, 8 or 10, between those years, whatever you are in 4th grade. And so I grew up there up until my first year of college. And then I moved around for a little bit. I was, trying to figure out who I am. I wasn't happy in the small town that I grew up in. So I moved around some, and then I ended up finding myself back in New York. So I've been here for the past almost 5 years now, actually. And I'm enjoying it. I living in New York has exposed me to a lot of different things. I've learned so much about myself living here. And that's about it. That's what I'm comfortable with sharing right now. Okay. What about you? Tell us about you, CJ.
Well, I am a full-time human. Yeah, I, like you, was born in New York. At 13, I moved to PA, and that's where I met Diamond, in our little small town. And I did high school there. I did college in PA, but I did college in Philadelphia, and high school was in the Poconos. And then after that, I came back here for work. Filmmaking is what I do. And I go hiking a lot when I go to PA. The funny thing is that I didn't care for nature. I was a homebody in PA. And then when I moved out of PA is when I fell in love with nature and wanted to go hiking and skinny dipping in the river and all that good stuff.
Skinny dipping?
Skinny, you know, you gotta cool off all the parts.
The tea is hot.
Let's see what else. I'm gay. I'm Hispanic, of Hispanic heritage. I'm gonna stop there, and because I don't want to bore the people. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go into list. So we're gonna keep this episode a little light, being that it's the intro. And we're going to go through a list of things that make us uncomfortable. The future episodes, we're going to go into some deep conversations, some heavy topics like, what are we going to talk about? Toxic relationships, commitment, having children, religion, which is my favorite thing to talk about. And just like nature, I didn't start caring about religion until after I gave up my belief in God.
Well, I don't know if that, I mean, is that true?
I was never religious, but I also never, I was never religious. I just believed in God, but I didn't go to church. I didn't read the Bible. Yeah. And then when I did read the Bible and I gave up my belief in God, now I continue to read and study the Bible and learn the history of religion. So It's interesting
Yeah.
how
Okay.
how
Fair.
life works. Um, but right now this episode is gonna be light, so we're just gonna go through things that we find uncomfortable, and then we're gonna go through the list of things that you guys answered us with, and hopefully we'll shed some light on what humans are like. All right, Diamond, do you want to go through your list first?
I'm a list person by nature. I I write lists for literally everything. If I'm happy, I'll write a list of what makes me happy. If I'm pissed or if I'm mad, I'll make a list of what makes me mad. So my biggest pet peeve, and something that has made me uncomfortable in certain situations, is loud chewing. Loud chewing, clicking of the gum, anything that has to do with the mouth, like you making a lot of noise with the mouth, that genuinely pisses me off. It makes me uncomfortable. I'll tell you this story. So in my math class, math is my worst subject. I'm sitting in math class, we're taking a test, and there's this woman clicking her gum. And not just like one or two, it's like that click, 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 like that whole thing. Blew my mind because it's like, how do you not realize that this is just...
How's the teacher not saying anything?
Well, let me get there. So she's chewing her gum and I can't focus. I'm literally at my pen. So I was getting so angry. And you know, when you're so upset in that moment, it's like you want to fight, you want to cry, like you want to curse her out. But of course, I'm not going to do anything of that because I don't want the confrontation, like this unnecessary confrontation. So I'm literally there with my pen in my hand, my pencil in my hand, and I'm looking up at the back of her head because she's sitting directly in front of me. And I'm just staring at her, and I know in my face there was just nothing but pure viciousness. So the professor, I see her looking at me, and I look back down, but the clicking is still getting me so upset. So then I look up again, I'm staring at the back of her head, and the professor's still looking at me. And then I'm so thankful that the professor was looking, because then she goes, anyone who has gum, please, they need to throw it out now. We can't have any clicking in the classroom. Please throw out your gum. And I was like, yes. The girl was like, sorry, professor, and throws out her gum. And she says, no more gum in the class. And I was so thankful. Because I literally was only zoned in on that. I couldn't focus on my work. That's how annoyed and uncomfortable that makes me. So that's just one example. Gum chewing. Don't do it, y'all. Don't do it in front of me, at least, please. So here's my laundry list of other things that makes me uncomfortable. People who have to fill silence with small conversation. I don't mind small talk, but if we've already established that, we don't have, like, don't fill silence. It's unnecessary. It makes me uncomfortable because I feel like then I have to engage in the conversation that I don't care about.
How you really feel though?
I have here selfishness, and that's something that we can talk about later on. We can deep dive into that. I do have the bad manners, loud chewing here. I have a couple things here and the next thing is people that talk about my weight and in a passive aggressive way. That's something, or people that just talk about my weight, period. That's something that really makes me uncomfortable, and I am only now starting to check people on it. So that's something that makes me uncomfortable. Hypersexuality makes me very uncomfortable. Unnecessary inconveniences, people not thinking things through. I think that's exactly what it is. Just instead of people thinking logically, they just think off of impulse, and then without thinking that whatever their actions can affect other people. That makes me uncomfortable. That's a pet peeve, and it makes me borderline uncomfortable. Think before you speak. Think before you do things. Just think. And then don't complain about it after. I think more so it's the complaining part that makes me uncomfortable, because then I have to listen to you vent about the poor decisions that you made as if you didn't make them. Don't do that.
Do better.
Do better, y'all. Do better. There are other things on my list that a bitch. Wait, I'm getting hot. Wait, let me see it. Who's that girl? Oh, see.
And then on the other side, it's a different picture. Maybe put it closer to the webcam. It says, and that's the tea. So we have one side, Diamond looking judgy, saying do better. And the other side, her looking, I don't know what. And that's the tea.
That is the tea. I love it. Wait, did you get me one? If not, I'm going to give you the money to order me one because I need that cup.
I'll get you. Actually, so the funny thing was, all right, so for those of you who are not actually watching what's going on right now, I just put up a tea mug with Diamond's pictures on it and saying do better, and that's the tea. And I ordered this a while ago for this moment specifically. This is for you, so I am going to wash it well. But well, the day that it came in the mail was the day that you came to visit me. That morning before you got here, it came in the mail, and I was like, "Oh my god, is this like? Should I give this to her right now?" But I didn't want to do it. I wanted to have this surprise. So, yeah, that's.
Wait, but we have to have matching mugs. Oh my gosh! Wait. Okay, no, we have to have matching mugs.
Maybe this could be like the official merch of Borderline Uncomfortable.
But no. But then we would need one with you on the other side, or a cup with you. Okay, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it, and I love you. I love you. You awesome man. You awesome man.
All right, so let's go to the next list.
Your list.
All right, my list is kind of long, and one of our friends told me. Because I told her that I had asked her what makes her uncomfortable. And she took a while to answer because she didn't really know. And I told her, I have like a whole page, 2 pages worth of things that make me uncomfortable. And she's like, I don't know if that's a good thing that you have so many things that make you uncomfortable. Maybe it's not. I could agree with her. I feel like I need to not be so cynical or pessimistic or weird or awkward about things. But at the same time, I like to think of it as y'all have problems you need to work on so I can stop being uncomfortable around you.
Ooh, that part.
All right, my list. Numero uno, feigning energy. So when people get really excited about something and I am excited for them, I'm genuinely happy for them, I don't match, at least not in the inside. My energy doesn't match their energy. And so for me to be like, oh my God, that's so good. Like, it's so much work for me. And it makes me truly uncomfortable. I wish I could just be like, that's cool. And then the person believe me that I think it's cool. So that's one thing. Confrontation. Playing games or sports with a competitive partner. Selling myself on social media. Compliments. Small talk. So Diamond and I actually got into this a couple of weeks ago because she likes to ask me how my day was and what did I do today. And for the most part, my day was the same as yesterday and I did absolutely nothing of note. So I don't know. I just don't need that. But she likes to check in on me and I appreciate that. But also, like, what do you want? What you call me for?
But also, like, I don't know how your day was. And if I didn't care about you, I would not be asking you directly. I don't know if something happened throughout your day to like shift your mood. I just want to know.
But if something happened, I would tell you. That's the sound of That's right. That's the siren like whoop whoop. You went there. Yeah, you went there.
You always do. Nothing new.
All right.
Go ahead.
Giving my grandmother her medication in front of my grandfather, because he's a big believer in natural remedy, natural vitamins. And so any medication that the doctor gives her, he's like, oh, that's going to ruin something else. You know, you don't need to take that anymore. Your blood pressure is fine. I was like, yeah, blood pressure is fine because she's taking her medication. So, so every time I have to give it to her in front of him, and I know he has that look like, oh, that medication. Sweaty hands, because I have sweaty hands all the time.
Very clammy.
Very clammy. Calling a stranger, especially if I have to set up an appointment or something like that. Working in customer service makes me truly uncomfortable. I had to use the bathroom every morning. As soon as I saw the building of where I worked at, my bowels started moving. So speaking up in public, like in a crowded bus, and I have to say, excuse me, I hate that. Slow walkers, getting stuck behind slow walkers.
Or next to.
It's different when you and I are strolling the park.
You tell me that I walk like your grandma.
Yeah, and she has a limp, so I need you to do better. Okay.
Okay.
Finding the sponge in a dirty sink. Sleeping over someone's house or hotel and not having my own room, because I wake up really early and I have to pee a lot, and I don't like moving around when there's other people sleeping around me. And people not wearing masks properly at the supermarket.
Or in public. People not wearing their masks or not wearing them properly, period.
And we'll be talking about that in the next episode. But yeah, that's our list. Now we're going to talk about your list. The things that you guys sent us on social media. So thank you again for answering our question about what makes you uncomfortable. And the people have written, Diamond, and what they wrote is the following. Social media, not being able to hang out with friends who still have young energy. We got establishing necessary boundaries. That's a good one.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to, but people don't know. Feelings. Feelings make this person uncomfortable. Going out without getting validation for my outfit.
Wait, that's what makes someone uncomfortable?
Yeah, when they don't get validation on their outfit before they go out.
Interesting. Okay.
My crush/friend with benefits won't give me his number because he's friends with my ex. So that's the T on that one. Not being able... What?
So, okay, pause. Pause. Are we talking about any of these, deep diving into any of these?
Yeah, let's do it. So you want to deep dive into that one?
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to finish the list, and then I'm starting the ones that you want to deep dive.
Revisit. Okay.
Yeah. Not being able to say no to my boss. Overly chatty coworkers. Walking into a patient's room for the first time and not knowing what kind of small talk to expect. My mother.
Oh, big star by that. Huge star. Circle that. Underline it.
Diamond got something to say about mama.
I sure do.
Advocating for myself or sharing relevant guidance in a chat with unknown or too many participants.
That's common. I feel that way.
People asking me why, as a female my age, I don't have children. And that is that list. That
was a response?
Yeah, why?
Wow, I didn't see that. I didn't.
Some of these were sent to me on my private Instagram profile.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah, and I told that person that children is something we're gonna have it's gonna have its own episode because
Wonderful.
that's a big one. But all right,
I'm
so
with you. I'm with you there.
so let's go to I did the thing that I said I wasn't gonna do, show my left side where I got my messed up. I cut my hair this morning, guys. So if you see the unevenness of it all, that's why.
It's uneven. Do you know that meme?
No.
It's uneven. They'll know. They'll know. And you ain't even cute. They'll know. They'll know. So going back to that, the responses.
My crush / friend with benefits won't give me his number because he's friends with my ex. Exactly. That was the face I made too.
Man, that's uncomfortable. That's such a weird position to be in. Take yourself out of, like, what advice would you give your friend to this person who proposed that that response? I'm asking you, what advice would you give your friend if they were in that situation? Take yourself, remove yourself from that and look at it from the outside.
Do we often use our own advice though? You know what I mean? Like I've told you a lot of things. I've given you advice when you've asked for it, and sometimes I reflect on what I told you. I'm like, why don't I do that? You know, why don't I do something like that? Or sometimes you ask me questions and I give myself advice. And so I know what I should be doing and I don't do it. It's a strange thing we do.
So I want to talk about a recent situation that happened to me. So I was on Tinder, and this was when I was visiting my family in PA. So I was on Tinder, and I swiped right on someone on my friend's ex, right? But my friend's ex from high school. And I swiped right because I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in years. How are you? Blah, blah, blah. We're talking. And I wasn't looking for anything serious. And he wasn't either. And we were talking about maybe like connecting just on like a NSA level, right? So I remember I brought this up to you and to a couple of my other friends. And it was you. Some people were like, well, let's start with this. I felt uncomfortable because I still felt, even though I haven't talked to my now ex-best friend in years, I still didn't feel comfortable dealing with her ex. Now, they hadn't seen each other in over 10 years, but I still felt that level of, what is the word I'm looking for? Not commitment, but no, I felt a level of, I can't think of the word, not commitment, but I just felt like I didn't, if she were to ever find out that I like slept with her ex, that would be uncomfortable. And I didn't want to have to explain myself in that way. And honestly, I didn't really need to be sleeping with him, right? And also coronavirus was happening, so I really didn't need to be dealing with him. But in that moment, I'm like, okay, well, I was trying to validate it to myself. They haven't seen each other in over 10 years. He's 10 minutes away from me. We both want the same thing. Why not? But it's like a couple things. If I were to ever encounter my old friend again, I didn't want to have to tell her this, right? And I would just want to be honest. And then B, it's a little different than the situation that was proposed to us because this person was not my crush. I had two options. I could either sleep with this person, right, who it would have just been an NSA, who happened to be my ex-best friend's ex-boyfriend, who they haven't communicated in over 10 years. So I was validating it that way. Or I could just like not deal with it. And I chose not to deal with it because I didn't want to put myself in any potentially awkward situations.
Let me tell you, I did one of the biggest no-nos with a situation like this. In high school, my first boyfriend was my close friend at the time, her ex. And we wasted no time, right? Like they broke up and then him and I are building our relationship. And it was new for me. It was exciting. Not that this was my friend's ex, but just, I've never had a relationship with a guy before. And I was like, oh, here's this guy who actually wants me, and I can finally explore this part of my life, my identity. And so I jumped on it. And when my friend found out a couple months later, it like devastated her. And I don't think there would have been a clean way to do it, like a way where everybody just ended up okay and satisfied. But of course, that would have been so awkward because she just broke up with him. She still had feelings for him. And I messed up. But, I opened myself up because of him. And not just to him, but to myself. And I came out in high school because of him. So, a lot of good came out of it, but I messed up and I should have done it differently. I should have thought it through, but I was just thinking with my feelings. I still do that a lot. We all do it. We think with our feelings, and we really have to ask ourselves questions. Why are we doing this? Why are we feeling this way? What could be the outcome of this action? How could we improve the outcome? Yeah. And then we leave less broken hearts behind when we do things like that.
Right.
We don't put so much pressure on our hearts, so much burden, and betrayal, because we betray ourselves when we do things like this, So.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. I think something that you say often to me, and it's beginning to sink in. Critical thinking. I know that I do say I like to think things through, but like you said, you may think that you're thinking it through, but you're not really asking yourself the much needed questions to like have a critical conversation with yourself. So think outside the box. And I think people need to get out of their own comfort zones and think differently about certain things, but with yourself. Question yourself. Yeah.
So that's that.
I need a quick lip gloss break.
Okay.
All right. So the last response that we got was someone who said, the question was, what makes you uncomfortable? And the response was my mother.
Yes, it was. And I feel like you have a lot to say about that one.
So it's funny because, again, kind of going back to what I talked about earlier, I'm not sure how much I want to expose. Do I want to expose these broads or not? Like, that's
your mother? Do you want to expose your mother or not?
No.
Sorry, Miss. I love you.
Don't put her name out there.
Oh. Cut that out. I'm going to bleep it out.
No, matter of fact. No, I'm kidding.
I'm going to bleep that out too.
We'll cut that out, yeah. So the response was my mother. And I'm, more than anything, I'm just curious. Like, I just want to hear what they have to say. I just want to sit and listen to them. And listen to all their tea and their complaints and their, not just complaints, but like the love that they have for this person, if any, or the hate, the discomfort. I just want to hear the story. Because even though that's a very vague response, very broad response, it still hits personally, So I actually won't go into detail because I think that would make more sense when we talk about selfishness. In my instance, right? Selfishness and having children. Yeah. I don't want to hit it too much right now. And I don't even know where I would start.
That says a lot right there. So, And then that is all that I have starred. But again, thank you for sending your responses. You had some great ones. I mean, honestly, if we did have the time, maybe some of these could be future episodes.
Sure.
We already have the topics for the next several episodes planned out, but we can always if people like what they hear, if they want to hear more, then we'll take some of these things and make them their own episodes. Like establishing necessary boundaries is could be a good one.
Or not validating for yourself. Is that what you're gonna say?
No, I was gonna say not being able to say no to my boss, which we could open up to not being able to say no, because there's a lot of power in the word no.
Yeah.
But we don't use that power. We're afraid of that power for some reason. I feel like you're less afraid of no than I am. That's for sure. That's one thing.
Because you're afraid of confrontation.
I am afraid of confrontation. So
don't get me wrong. I don't want people to have the wrong idea. I am also, I wouldn't say afraid of confrontation, but I think for me, I'm just more comfortable with saying how I feel and voicing my opinion. Because I'm not gonna, if I don't have to be uncomfortable, why should I be? That's my whole thing. If something that you're doing affects me directly and I don't like it, why should I sit in that and like fester in hate when I can easily just say, I didn't like this. Please don't do it again. Or this would work better for me. And let's move on from there.
Well, I think it's time to start winding down. And how'd you feel with episode 1?
I hate that you just said that. I don't know why.
Does that make you uncomfortable?
I think we should just, I think it's time no, just ask the question. Can we take that out?
Well, we gotta let people...
Okay, keep it. Borderline uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Here we have it, folks. No, okay. So to answer your question, how do I feel with episode 1? I think there was a lot of jibber jabber at times. It's funny
so it's
because
gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to edit.
Yeah, I can imagine. So initially, I was incredibly nervous, as you know, but folks watching or listening, they won't. I was incredibly nervous. I was doing my makeup as CJ and I were on the Zoom call. I was doing my makeup kind of slow, doing my edges kind of slow, asking a lot of questions, which I needed to know the answer to. But, I was definitely just...
Stalling.
I was definitely stalling. But as the conversation began to flow, I became more comfortable. I think it's funny because in the beginning, the small talk really bothered me. I don't mind small talk, depending. But it kind of was just like, okay, let's get to the point so we can actually talk. But I think for the first episode, I think it was fine. I'm happy that we did it because this was a long time coming. So I'm happy that we finally got the first episode done. And I hope that if anything else, maybe not from the first episode, but I hope folks are willing to, just like we said before, think differently and think more critically, like you often say. But I am satisfied with episode 1. How do you feel?
I feel good too. I feel like if I finish editing this and it doesn't turn out all right, we're just going to scrap it. Luckily, this isn't live. But no, I think it's going to be fun. I think we're going to get better. I think the conversations are going to get better. Our confidence is going to get better. It's going to get better. And hopefully, we'd love to hear your feedback.
Yeah, please give us all the
Yeah.
feedback, positive, negative. We are here to learn, and we need it. We need it. I need it. I want it. Like, I want to hear what you have to say.
We need that validation.
No, actually, I don't need the validation, but I just want to know what something that maybe I was doing that I didn't notice, something you were doing that we didn't notice. Like, I want to know these things. It's good to have a third opinion.
Or maybe you disagree with some of our advice.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't like a lot of things we said, and maybe you have another idea, and that's something we could bring up. But for future episodes, we're going to be asking questions on social media, on our Instagram, the way we did with this one.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be more focused because the topics for the future episodes are going to be more focused. Right now, we were just going off of a list of anything. But
let me cut you off really quick before I forget this. All that. And also, I just want to make it clear, I don't know if you were going to hit this, but this is essentially an extension of our conversations.
Yeah.
So, sorry. I just cut you off because I wanted to say that and I didn't want to forget.
It's true. It is an extension of our conversation. We want to bring other people into it because these are not conversations that you normally, if you're with friends and you're having a good time, drinking some wine, and then all of a sudden someone comes out, is it immoral to have children? Like, but these are interesting questions. And we'd love to hear what you guys had to say. We want to get your perspective because we don't know everything. We want to understand other people who think differently than we do. And we're also not excluded from the silly, stupid things that we complain about. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we are complaining about ourselves. So we want to know how you guys feel about yourselves and how we can all learn and do better.
Do better, bitch. Do better.
So thank you for listening. Thanks, you for watching and tuning in. I did it! You did what? Oh, you said guys.
I said thanks, guys. So just in case no one's noticed, I am trying to be very neutral because I'm sure there will be different types of people listening. So I wanted to avoid saying guys. And also that's just so damn generic. Everyone's like, hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's ridiculous. So that's why I've been saying folks, but I just said guys. Freaking at the end, man.
You almost made it. Almost made it. Do you feel comfortable with just no, but now that we are at the end, don't forget to subscribe and like and
like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little bell button so you always know. No, don't do that if you don't want to. Please don't do that. Don't do that if you don't want to. Shameless plug.
I mean, everybody's doing it. It works, right?
I mean, hey.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us and join us in the future because we don't know everything. So we want to know if you know anything.
We don't know everything, but we like to philosophize about everything. What is it? We don't know everything, but philosophize about anything?
We don't know anything.
We don't know everything, but philosophize about everything.
Okay, so anyway. The one thing I want to say, we don't know anything, but we philosophize about everything.
We don't know everything and philosophize about everything. No.
We don't know anything, but we philosophize about everything.
It's okay to not know anything, but philosophize about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to cut that out. Thank you for listening. Thank you for talking with us, and look out for the next question. And
one.
And even if you have an experience that you'd like to share with us and it has nothing to do with the question that we asked, share it anyway.
Share it.
Because it could be a future episode.
Communicate with us. Yeah. Put it in the DM, put it in the comments below. Share it.
Should we give them our email?
No, because we have the YouTube channel and they can put it in the comments below, or we'll put it on Instagram. They can put it in the comments below there. I
So
think it's famous.
Diamond doesn't want to give you our number because she's afraid that our ex is gonna find out. All right, we're signing off. One.